Hi, this is our project on gender roles in separate spheres. What were the expected gender roles of late 19th century women and men in Europe and in the US? In the late 19th century, society had very strict expectations for men and women. Women were expected to stay in the home, managing the household and raising children. They were seen as pure, modest, nurturing, and obedient, and their main purpose was centered around marriage and family rather than careers or politics. Most women had very few rights. They couldn't vote and had limited control over property or money. For middle and upper class women, staying at home was considered proper, while working class women often had to work out of necessity, usually in factories as servants or doing sewing work. On the other hand, men were seen as the breadwinners and the heads of the household. They worked in public life, in businesses, politics, or professional jobs, and were expected to be rational, ambitious, and authoritative. Men also held almost all legal and financial power within their families.
What restrictions were placed on women and men in the 19th century? Restrictions placed on women were that they were in a private sphere, seen as docile, weak, and domestic. They were supposed to be domestic housewives and were supposed to leave any jobs that they had previous to their marriage in order to take care of their family and nurture them. Women were also had no rights to divorce if their relationship went bad or sour. And once they were married, they were forced to absorb their husband's identities. And if they did not live up to the values that society put onto them, then they were seen as prostitutes. Unlike women, men did not have as many restrictions as they did. They were in the public sphere seen as breadwinners, and they were supposed to be the providers of the household, responsible, strong, and brave. Because of this, emotions were discouraged, and men working in a lower class had to face long labor hours and were not able to get any political rights.
The separate spheres doctrine defined gender roles in Europe during the 1800s. Traditionally, women were defined both physically and intellectually as the weaker sex and were subordinate to male authority in all ways. Influential social philosophers supported this idea, and even Queen Victoria herself reinforced this concept by saying that God created men and women different and that they should remain in their own positions. Men were considered the breadwinners and competitors. In a household, he was considered things like the doer, the creator, the defender, and many more. Publicly, men dominated all decision-making in political, legal, and economic affairs, holding nearly all major occupations in fields such as the army, shipbuilding, finance, and many more. Women were positioned either as decorative trophies or more commonly as spiritual guardians intended to protect men's immortal souls. Patience and self-sacrifice were considered the prime feminine virtues, and women were always expected to be good. The majority of upper and middle class women never worked outside the home, instead running the house, undertaking domestic work and childcare, and supervising servants. While wives often assisted husbands in small businesses in the 1830s, work and home were generally separated by the 1890s. However, in the mid-century and onward, this began to change, when educated women began to pry open certain professional occupations, driven by this desire for self-fulfillment.
But also,
This is our works cited page.
Thank you so much for listening to our presentation.